Okay, so I finished all the captions and now I want to prep background and the other settings around it before I duplicate my sequences. So let's add a color matte. Just going to do a real simple color matte. Color white. Drag that into the timeline. Just a small quick tip. I have the snapping setting enabled. Sometimes you may hit the S key on your keyboard, and then when you're dragging items, they don't snap to other objects. So just make sure you hit the S key and you can see that you've enabled snap. I think you can also search that. Snap in timeline, and that is under sequence and snap in timeline. So there it is. So I want this color matte to appear for as long as the text is, and then now my captions are hard to read. So I've selected all my captions, go into film, change the color, and go back into effects. I just prefer to work in effects, the effects workspace, but you can find the workspace that works for you. In the beginning, I always use all panels, and sometimes you switch things around and you can't find things. You can go to Window, Workspaces, and reset to save layout for whatever workspace you're in. Okay, so what I want to do with this color matte is go into Lumetri Color. I'm going to give it a vignette. So this is something just very easy, kind of nice effect that you can add very simply to your videos, or you can get into really nicely designed backgrounds. Okay, so after this, I have here notes for the transitional points. So soprano is from the beginning, tenor from verse 2, alto from the first chorus, and then bass from chorus and after the bridge. So what I'm trying to do is to get a good frame of reference for everything, so that when I'm in my subsequences, I'll know where everything is. Soprano is from the beginning until verse 2. So what is verse 2? Oh, I can hear it. So here is the transition point. So the verse 2. I put a break here because there's just instrumental, so I felt we don't need to extend. It's kind of by feeling, like what's a good stopping point for the text. The frames should extend for the whole section. Let me turn this color matte off. So tenor comes in from verse 2. And then alto from first chorus. So bass, teens and kids are from chorus and after bridge. When in doubt, just check with your client that you're at the right points, or you can ask them for the timestamps. This is all the prep work I want to do before we get into cropping the videos. So here I will let's quickly save this. I will just duplicate the sequence and name it something you will tell what it is. Soprano, or one soprano. I'll just do it like that. And then I just want to keep this sequence for reference sake, and I want to make a final one. So this will be the final working sequence. So I will close out on this, and so in the final sequence we don't need we won't use the frames. The frames will be from the subsequences. So I will show that later after we work through the subsequences. While we're working, we don't need these other parts. Virtual Choir 1, we just keep frame 1 because we know that the beginning point will be at the beginning of this frame. So we can just match the lips of the singers to the audio. We don't really need all of these things. So while adding the videos to each sequence, just keep the audio to match the audio, and then later when we're ready to put all the sequences together, we can remove this audio file so that when we add the sequence to the final sequence, we can just technically do it now. We don't get this issue of like overriding it and having layers on top of each other for the audio, so just undo that. Okay, so that's all I want to show for this part.